The Indiana Pacers have an 11-point advantage, and one of the things that Jeff Van Gundy had hoped was that putting Latrell Sprewell would energize him. He came into the series shooting 37%, but he's been too quick and a little bit out of control on almost all of his offensive tries, and Jeff Van Gundy has had to take him out of the ball game in hopes of calming him down a little bit because he needs the offensive energy of Latrell Sprewell to get a win. You take a look at that shot chart, it's a lot like yours.
Well, at least he's got a lot of shots up, and that's a good idea. But the fact that he's been out there playing against Chris Mullin has torched him coming alive. Chris Mullin, 10 points tonight for Latrell Sprewell. The guys who have not come through, Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby, the heroes of Game 3.
Now, if you're the Knicks, you would like to cut this lead down to 7 or 8 points by the end of the quarter. Mark Jackson on the bench.
Mark Jackson once again takes it inside successfully, and get this, New York is shooting 56% of the quarter. They've only turned it over once, and yet they have not gained a point on the lead.
Because Indiana has listened to Larry Bird, and everybody has brought some sort of contribution tonight.
Johnson hits the three. Larry Johnson now with 9 points.
10-point game, and again, the goal of the Knicks is to try to get to 7 or 8, and if they do that, they've got an excellent chance of pulling it out in the fourth quarter. Miller.
Oh! Missed it, and screamed in response. It would have been a 2 anyway, and the ball out of bounds to New York.
Larry Johnson pulling the trigger, looking for that miracle finish. Pacers aren't getting anywhere near him to give the referees a chance to blow another whistle. Then Reggie Miller flailing away at one end. I guess all you have to do to get a foul on a rebound is to yell when you miss time to jump, as Marcus Camby did that time.
Jalen Rose, one of the heroes of the first half, replacing Chris Mullin for Indiana. Chris Childs on the floor with Charlie Ward, the 2-point guards for New York.
And Houston's got a matchup in his favor against Mark Jackson. 8 on the clock, trying to punish him short with that.
Big rebound by Rick Smith. His first rebound of the game. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thanks, Tom. During that timeout, Larry Bird wanted his group to attack this trap, to be aggressive. No second shots for the Knicks. No easy baskets. Continue to work the ball around well like they just did there to Rick Smith. And don't get rattled if they make a run. Tom?
Jim, Marcus Camby with a classic example of the Matador defense as he went in front, and Smith's had a clear path to the hoop.
But Mark Jackson is giving the ball up early against the double team, and that's a great thing to do.
Marcus Camby.
A shot he missed the entire first half. He finally gets one to drop here. Again, the lead is 10.
Steve, psychologically, guys like Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby, are they strong enough to come up with a repetitive great game?
Larry Johnson is the leading scorer in this series. Marcus Camby is the leading hustler. They've been doing it. They've just got to be able to get some points. Crowd trying to get excited.
Camby hauled down the miss by Rose for his 7th rebound. Here's Houston for 3. Mad looking shot. Camby had it, and he's fouled.
See, that's what Marcus Camby has been doing the entire series, and able to make a big save for the crowd and the Knicks, who want something to happen here before the end of the quarter.
Wait a second. How can you rebound this shot? This comes off like a cannon shot from so far away you can't even get a bead on that.
Did you see that ball fall in Dale Davis's hand?
Oh,
the guy took it away from him.
He was guarding his face so he wouldn't get hurt.
Camby hits the first free throw. He has now 11 points and 9 rebounds. Dale Davis with his 2nd foul.
Larry Bird was disgusted when Marcus Camby made that save at 1:44 with 3 Indiana Pacers standing around the ball. Equally disgusted when he gets this one, but he misses the 2nd free throw.
But the Pacers' goal has to be, look, we got to get a solid lead and not let this come down to the end where we've shot ourselves in the foot all season long.
15 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Jackson backing down on Ward. 5 to shoot. 3 to shoot. Blocked by Ward. Blocked again. Shot clock violation.
Pretty basketball.
Mark Jackson just backing down, and then Ward rejected his shot. They're going to put some time back on the clock. 2.9 seconds.
You got to get movement. Once it doesn't happen initially, cut somebody through. Screen down on the weak side. Give it up. Don't beat a dead horse.
Ward fires a bullet, the former quarterback, to Childs, but his bank shot offline as the third quarter comes to an end. Over the last 6 minutes, New York did outscore Indiana 15-8, but Chris Mullen with an 18-point night, keeping Indiana in the lead. At the end of the third quarter, the Indiana Pacers 66, the New York Knicks 57 in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game, without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association, is prohibited.
We begin the fourth quarter with Indiana leading New York by 9. The fourth quarter, of course, traditionally has been Miller time, but not in this series.
It has been a difficult playoff series for Reggie Miller, and this has been a magical place for him, but he's not been able to get the shot attempts, not been able to get his hands on the ball. Credit the New York defense with keeping him from getting that torch going.
In the 3 fourth quarters already played, Reggie Miller has taken a combined total of 8 shot attempts.
There's another Indiana turnover. Childs. Back to Ward. Rejected by Dale Davis.
Well, Dale Davis can't pass, but he can block. And so he made a big save after throwing it away to come back and make the Knicks work against the clock, which is at 15.
Does that last pass count as a shot attempt because it hit the rim and work against his field goal percentage?
Houston finds Camby. He can't score. Jackson one-hands it.
Camby has got 8 points and 7 boards. Larry Johnson 6 points and 1 rebound. That's coming off career playoff games for the both of them in Game 3.
Rose against Childs.
Not a good matchup. They're going to give help. Rose squeezes it off.
And a push in the back. Looks like.
Steve, that's the way you use your hip to establish position. Dale Davis down low, pinning, sealing Marcus Camby in there, then waiting for the ball to bounce over the top. Rodman was a master of that.
Camby's third foul.
Rodman push.
Oh, please. Guy only led the league in rebounding for 7 straight years.
Larry Johnson fronting on defense, rejects that entry pass. Allen Houston hounded by Jackson and fouled by Mark Jackson.
Let's see which team has the patience and composure to finish this ball game out. Right now, the Pacers seem a little desperate, and they're the team on the lead.
But the Knicks are trying to get in that scramble game. Now it's critical that Indiana plays with discipline and poise.
Derek McKee replaces Mark Jackson for Indiana. New York's offense, after shooting 33% in the first half, 52% in that third quarter. We'll see if they can sustain it.
Well, they've done a better job of moving the ball and attacking the rim. Camby.
From Charlie Ward.
When you come off that high screen and you make the decision to step out, you have to force him back. You can't let him step around you. That time, Charlie Ward easily down the lane.
Knicks within 7.
Crowd in it, Van Gundy in it, telling his guys up, 10 on the shot clock for the Pacers. Yo, A means I want to get your attention, official. You're going to see a nice penetrating drive by Charlie Ward, and the defense come to him. Camby with 2 hands over the top, and that's what they want to kind of do for Camby. Keep him in the slot and then let him play above the rim.
That was the key to the Knicks' great comeback in Game 3. Charlie Ward and Chris Childs penetrating, getting easy opportunities.
Davis got it and will shoot one as Camby inexplicably once again ran right by him.
This could have been called a flagrant foul. There was no play made on the ball here.
What was Camby doing? He ran right by Davis and then fell down.
Trying to get into transition offense there, Tom.
Getting a head start.
Well, he's trying to make a steal and got off balance and couldn't recover. That left Larry Johnson exposed, and Dale Davis gets that tiptoe jam to go in, and now they have a chance for a 3-point play.
Sprewell replaces Ward for New York. They're the closest they've been since the second quarter before that Dale Davis, and now a chance for the three-point play, and he converts it. So a three-point play by Dale Davis, and Indiana goes back up by 10.
Tom, this is the first game that we haven't seen the Knicks exploit their quickness advantage. The Pacers have stood their ground, played up over the top of New York.
McKee slapped it away from Houston. Rose. Childs right with him. He has to give it up.
The big men for Indiana, Dale Davis and Derek McKee and Antonio, have to come away to help the guards.
Derek McKee. Lost it out of bounds.
Larry Bird is saying, wait a second. The ball went right off the Knicks. How could you make that call?
Indiana with the lead.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. By Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. And by IBM. Are you ready for e-business?
Game 4 Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers desperately trying to even the series. Their star Reggie Miller scoreless in the first half. So Chris Mullin, the veteran, stepped up, hitting this three, and 18 points so far in the game. Jalen Rose off the bench, a potent force for the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks started flat. Larry Johnson trying to get them going with a three-pointer, the hero of Game 3. Allen Houston untracked in the third quarter. Marcus Camby running the court. But yet, in the fourth quarter with 9:46 left, a trip to the finals and a chance at that trophy finds Indiana leading New York 69-59 with 9:46 remaining. Childs with a steal. Camby is fouled by Rose. When we went away to commercial, the officials changed their call while we were away, giving the ball back to Indiana. Didn't matter. New York got the steal, and now Jalen Rose commits his third foul, putting Camby on the line.
Camby with great quickness here, just keeps running and beautifully laid back by Chris Childs. Perfect execution of the 2-on-1.
It was that guy, Camby, who's doing all the yelling and screaming that tipped that ball free. So Camby, although his numbers aren't quite as good as they were in Game 3, has definitely been a factor for Van Gundy. Gets his first free throw.
They're behind by 9, Steve.
There is a ton of time left in this game. 9:40 to go. Knicks are in it.
Pacers' goal is to not even give the Knicks or the referees a chance to have any sort of influence on the end of this game.
Camby was not a good free throw shooter, only 55% in the regular season. Hits 1 of 2. He has 14 points and 9 rebounds.
Well, the Knicks defense has slowed the Indiana Pacers down, caught them from coming inside on every possession. Rebound, Larry Johnson.
Antonio Davis with a miss. Only the second rebound for LJ. Just more than 9 minutes remaining in the game. Indiana leads by 9.
Trying to go to Sprewell against Reggie Miller, who has 3 personal fouls.
Sprewell backing him down. Spotted up for the 3. LJ came up short. Camby and Antonio Davis battle for the ball. It'll belong to the Knicks.
Again, the quickness of Marcus Camby, who just seems to have his hands by every single guy that tries to block him out. That time, Antonio Davis.
Kurt Thomas on the floor for the New York Knicks, giving it up to Sprewell. That's a patented Reggie Miller move as Miller flops to the court, and the foul called on Sprewell, number 3.
The great defense of Reggie Miller, who's got so many career steals and great defensive plays in his resume.
Did you say the Tonys were last night?
I stopped by there. It was quite an event.
Was Reggie there? Reggie's taken only 6 shots in the game. He said he would take 20 or 25. I think it was Sprewell that took that to heart.
Again, the pressure defense has forced the Indiana Pacers to slow down. Fighting the shot clock now. Miller.
Sprewell blocked it. It'll be Indiana's ball with 3 to shoot.
And Larry Bird has seen enough. He wants someone that can control things out there. Dale Davis is going to come out of the game. Mark Jackson in, but you can see Sprewell working hard defensively, making it very tough for Miller to get a shot away.
Bird is going small here to match the quickness that New York has. Shot clock.
Jackson a long 3. Rebound Camby. That's his 10th. He has a double-double.
Derek McKee has to be big for Indiana here in all aspects of the game.
Now they got a mismatch. Thomas against Mark Jackson. This is where he can score. Got to take his time.
And he did, and he put it home. Kurt Thomas. First 8 possessions of the fourth quarter. Not much doing.
7-point game.
Rose. He got wide open. Larry Johnson didn't get back down court to pick him up, and Rose made him pay. Jalen with a dozen points.
With New York scrambling and double teaming, taking the ball out of Jackson's hands, everybody has to want to shoot the ball for Indiana, particularly Jalen, Derek McKee, and Antonio Davis.
Sprewell, LJ for 3. Thomas cleared out with his off arm and is called for the foul. Kurt Thomas, number 4.
That is a foul. That is just throwing bodies out of the way. Total disdain for the rules of basketball.
Larry Johnson, who had the 3 miracle 3-point shots in game 3, is firing blanks from the arc tonight.
Kurt Thomas has 4 fouls and
Field. Canby. Remember the trouble Indiana has closing out a game. 7:20 left. New York trying to mount a comeback down 7.
Crowd is back in it.
Rose. Jalen Rose. Tough shot. Right over Larry Johnson. 14 for Jalen.
Jalen is the best player Larry Bird has at getting his own shot, forcing Van Gundy to take a timeout here.
Timeout New York. 7:01 showing on the clock. Marcus Camby right into the passing lane, and he'll throw it down on the other end.
Nice pass by Mark Jackson.
Camby's trying to get the crowd involved in it if New York is going to have a chance to come from behind. But this hurts if you're a New York fan. Jalen Rose over Larry Johnson, and Indiana has a 73-64 lead.
Larry Johnson has adjusted his game and has gone deep in the well to pull out the 3-point shot. In the regular season, that was something that he didn't look a lot to take, but in game 3, he was the hero with some miracle shots. That one to end the first quarter, and then it's a tough one off the bank. And, of course, no one will forget the 4-point play. And it's been that kind of a series for Larry Johnson where he has come up with a lot of big shots. But tonight, that hasn't been the case with the 3-point field goal for Johnson.
And Steve, not only has he not got it done on the offensive end, he's only got 2 rebounds in 38 minutes as the starting power forward.
He's on the bench now. Kurt Thomas is back in. Childs had it slapped away, saved by Sprewell.
5 on the clock.
Camby from 15. Rebounded by Antonio Davis.
That was a terrific pass by Sprewell. Applying Camby so wide open, hit him in perfect motion.
Mark Jackson sails it out of bounds. Reggie Miller
turned the wrong way. He was wide open and turned, and as he turned, the ball sailed out of bounds to give the Knicks a chance. The guy they got to get going now is Allen Houston here in the fourth quarter of play.
Here's the ball in his hands. Got a good screen from Thomas. Couldn't hit. Short again. Back tap by Camby. Childs inside. Thomas missed right under the rim.
How do you expect to win if you can't convert a play like that? Camby, though, unstoppable. Nobody's able to keep him off. I guess that bounty message did not get through to the Davises.
Thomas with a jarring bump of Reggie Miller as he came through off the screens. Got open that time, but missed. Camby another board. Here's Childs pushing for New York. All the way to the rim. Score!
Those were the kind of mad dashes he made against Mark Jackson late in the ball game to get the Knicks back in it. A quick push there, 7-point ball game.
This is where the Pacers have been so many times. The good solid leads. Chris Childs up. No shot blockers there. Tough pass.
Lob pass for Antonio Davis and one. Camby was trying to front him. Excellent lob pass. Took him right to the rim and a chance for the 3-point play.
Against defensive pressure. Kurt Thomas all over the ball. Derek McKee delivering, and Camby is going to come out of this looking over at Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell and saying, hey, how about some weak side rotation? We're on the ball with pressure. We're fronting. And you two guards are standing on the weak side waiting for us to get the ball so you guys can shoot.
Three-point play by Antonio Davis. Fourth foul on Marcus Camby.
They can't afford to lose Camby. Nice drive, Childs.
Childs right back to lay it in. 5:17 remaining. It's 76-68 Indiana.
Chris Childs has been very impressive throughout this series with his guard penetration. Mark Jackson, just no answer for it.
Again, backcourt pressure from the Knick guards. Rose blows right by Houston. Miller's floater goes. Baseline floater as he got to step on Sprewell.
Indiana has to think offense right now. They have to just come out and get guys that want to shoot that ball.
Reggie Miller with 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting.
Looking for Houston. Reggie Miller doing a good job of keeping him away from the ball. 9 on the clock.
Thomas. Nice shot over Antonio Davis, much to the delight of the injured Patrick Ewing.
Thomas can score inside. His basic problem is keeping himself in the game and playing under control.
Rose. Oh! Jalen Rose taking Allen Houston to school.
Tease him with the right-handed runner. Jalen, of course, a lefty. Coming down, freezes Houston. Houston doing as good a job as conceivable there. No shot blockers there. Timeout called as every time the Knicks get a little bit close, the Pacers respond with big plays. First Reggie Miller and then Jalen Rose.
And tonight after the game, stick with NBC for the comedy of Conan O'Brien. That's Late Night with Conan O'Brien coming up later tonight here on NBC.
Larry Bird is telling his guys right here, look, this is a 10-point lead. And we want at least a 10-point lead at the end of this game. Don't just think about holding on right here. Go out there and put some more points on the board. Attack that trapping defense.
With a victory tonight, Indiana would not only tie the series, but would regain the home court advantage as we go back to Market Square Arena for Game 5 on Wednesday.
Well, both of these teams believe that they can win on the road, and they've proven it. The Knicks have got 5 road wins and really surprised Miami by getting 2 down there, 2 in Atlanta, 1 in Indiana so far. Jalen Rose, big hitter for Larry Bird. Every time the Knicks have rushed at them, he's got a 3-point play.
And remember, the Pacers have only lost 1 road playoff game all year, and that was on the miracle finish. The miracle by Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson returns to the game, replacing Kurt Thomas.
They tried this backdoor cut here. But the defense that time for Indiana, unlike the Knicks on the previous possessions, rotating and collapsing from the weak side.
17 on the clock.
Houston against Miller. No shot, says Joey Crawford. Foul on Reggie Miller. The Pacers' biggest lead has been 16. New York has gotten within 7 on 4 different occasions, but no closer as Reggie Miller commits his 4th.
And Tom, we've seen so few fast break opportunities for the Knicks tonight. That's something that's really separated them in this series by getting out and running. The Pacers are playing such a disciplined and powerful force with the fast break points. New York has 10, Indiana 3.
Camby, awkward looking move, and Antonio Davis has it for Indiana. What was he trying to do there?
Well, he was making it up. Well, he was making it up as he went. You know, that was a little Baryshnikov, and he just couldn't quite get the right angle. And they're down 11.
Baryshnikov would never claim that one. Allen Houston out-scraps Jackson for the basketball, gives it up to Childs. Not good spacing by the Knicks on that transition opportunity, and they're lucky to get the ball back.
You turn a 4-on-1 into a baseline out-of-bounds play. That's not good.
Well, Sprewell was not ready to catch, and that hurt him. Sprewell has had a tough game, and those are the kind of plays that he normally finishes.
Jackson being double-teamed by McKee, and again misses the layup.
Emotional fatigue. We've seen it tonight from Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby.
Miller will shoot the free throws, being fouled by Latrell Sprewell.
Now, I don't know if Camby goes in that category of emotional fatigue. Camby has been all over the place and doing a good job. Larry Johnson, don't throw Camby in there because he has played a heck of a game.
Latrell Sprewell again showing the defensive liabilities that has plagued him throughout his career. Camby has done fine, Steve, but to win games like this, you got to be great. And that's what's tough for this Knicks team, is that everybody has to play with that incredible theme of we are the underdogs and we got to pull together.
New York will try to pull it together, but they trail by 12 at the 3:28 mark.
Moving without the ball, a lost art in the generation of everyone wanting to be like Mike. But Reggie Miller has paid the price tonight, as he has just been battered around by a lot of Knicks stepping up. But Reggie more than willing to take that price as he's leading the Indiana Pacers to a comfortable victory here in Madison Square Garden, Game 4 tonight. Reggie Miller, 2 for 9, 8 points.
So only 9 shots. The New York defense continues to throttle his point production, but they're winning without him tonight. $83-70.
Well, a lot of people left the building figuring that there's no miracle comeback, but there's still time for the New York Knicks to make one more run, trying to get it inside to Larry Johnson. They get a foul.
The defense for Indiana tonight, Steve, has just been a huge difference. Yes, the Knicks offense has been struggling, but everybody is going to the ball. They're moving as a team in unison. They're rotating beautifully, helping each other out. And Jalen Rose, Reggie Miller, and Derek McKee have been big on the 3 offensive weapons for New York.
You spent yesterday with Larry Bird, and he said he called them all out, so we'll find out whether that worked. Johnson.
Larry was not in a happy mood yesterday. That was a tough night's sleep, of which he got 0. You saw that sun come up on Saturday night after Game 3.
Well, Jeff Van Gundy, who, of course, his travails are well chronicled, still his status for next year has not been clarified. So he makes the big decision to bring Sprewell off the bench most of the year and then puts him in the starting lineup tonight. Was it the right decision?
Well, so far it hasn't paid because Sprewell has not given him the offensive energy. Crowd wants a 3 from someone. 11 on the shot clock for Johnson against the defense of McKee.
Johnson 1 on 3 and the shot blocked.
Tom, I thought it was the right move coming in, starting Sprewell, but the way it's turned out, it has been a disaster. Chris Mullin got off and went crazy. Sprewell has not responded to the pressure and the challenge.
Well, we've just passed the 2-minute mark, the point where the Pacers have blown a lot of leads.
If they blow this one, Larry Bird's gonna walk home. He might not even go to Game 5.
Camby. How much of a factor was the emotional fatigue of New York after that draining victory in Game 3? It didn't affect Indiana as much, a veteran team, as it did New York, the exuberance of it.
Indiana stayed mad. It's easier to stay mad than it is easier to stay up. The disappointing performances have come from Houston and Sprewell, who had to be huge and were not.
Miller is fouled and 1.
Well, that was the nail in the coffin. Everybody just hit the seat, and they're out of here. Reggie Miller.
Was there a fire alarm or something that went off? I must have missed it.
Miller with the top shot right here, and this is a big effort by him, and the kind that really gets him going. But Sprewell has had this kind of night. Gambling defensively, out of position. Miller makes him pay, a chance for a 3-point play. So,
and now Jalen is coming over, starting to talk to the guys in the front row.
I think Jalen had the little LJ sign, too. He showed to Spike Lee. There's Jalen, who had a big game. Gave the Pacers a lift off the bench in the first half. Reggie Miller now with 12 points. A minute 13 left, and the Pacers on their way to evening the series at 2. Former Knick Charles Oakley among the few remaining at Madison Square Garden for the final minute 13. It was, of course, the controversial trade that sent Oakley away. Many said the heart and soul of the Knicks for Marcus Camby. The trade widely panned early. Ernie Grunfeld, the general manager, demoted. And now Camby playing like a man possessed, the best New York player tonight and maybe the whole series. There's Latrell Sprewell. Tonight, Camby with 18 points and 13 rebounds.
Camby has to learn to turn those numbers, though, into more impact as the Knicks are in just a fouling situation.
How much more impact can the lad have?
They lost the game.
Well, it's not his fault. I mean, he has given every ounce of sweat he has had this evening, and you're making it seem like he is the guy that's let him down. He is the guy that's kept them in it.
Numbers. Give me some guys who control ball games. And that has not been the case for New York as Latrell Sprewell sits down in a very, very disappointing game.
Fouled out with 12 points on 6 of 14 shooting in his starting role tonight.
But that's the difference between good players and great players. And Latrell Sprewell has always been a good player. But only the select few are able to come in there and deliver when the whole world is watching and the pressure is right squarely on you.
Charlie Ward came back in for Sprewell, who fouled out. Larry Johnson, a 3. Camby kept it alive, but right to Antonio Davis, who's hacked by Chris Child.
Antonio Davis walking it back the other end. It's been a night in which the Indiana Pacers came out with a different attitude at both ends of the floor. They were more aggressive in attacking the basket for Larry Bird. That got them off to a very good start, and the New York Knicks will have to rethink how to play Game 5 in Indiana. A smiling Dale Davis now.
And the big 3 of the New York Knicks, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston, and Latrell Sprewell, shooting under 38% from the floor, 16 of 43 for the game. Knicks can't win with that.
They have to get back to their quickness game. And Indiana's defense was just too solid today. They tried to go too much one-on-one. It was Sprewell over dribbling. Chris Childs trying to do too much at times. Allen Houston, not an explosive enough game when they really needed that. Larry Johnson, too tired to do anything today. They just had to regroup, come back, and start over.
Houston launches a 3. And we're down to 30 seconds.
But if you thought we saw a hungry crowd at the start of this game, wait till that crowd at Market Square on Wednesday night.
And if you're a Pacer fan, the good news is your team has regained the home court, as we'll even up the series at 2-2 with teams trading hostile court victories.
Well, as we saw in the Miami series, when the New York Knicks had a chance to seize control of the series, they let it slip away, but they were able to come back and get Game 5. Game 5 goes back to Market Square. There will be a Game 6. So the Knicks know that they can win on the road, and that's the attitude and belief they'll take to Indiana.
And even though Reggie Miller and Rick Smits did not have the big nights again, other players stepped up. Chris Mullin had 18 points in the first 3 quarters. Jalen Rose, who had been in the funk, came off the bench and blasted out of it in a big way. He has 19 points. And so the good news for Larry Bird is you get Smits and Miller back to the top of their game, and you're hitting on all cylinders.
It seemed tonight, Tom, as if the Pacers finally played with a sense of desperation. It says that if we don't win this game, we have no chance to win that elusive championship.
Now, Rose and the Pacers will dribble it out, and Reggie Miller says, not tonight. There'll be no 3-1.
Reggie Miller talking to Chris Rock as he's walking off the court there.
And the first game of the series that did not come down to the last possession or two. The first 3 games had been decided by a total of 6 points. This one belongs to the Indiana Pacers in a big way by a final score of 90-78. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. With Jalen Rose, 19 points. Chris Mullin with 18. Jalen, let's start with you. It seemed like you had the answer every time when they tried to put up a run. You repelled it every time. How did you manage that?
I just wanted to stay aggressive. I was unhappy with the way I went home 1 for 3 the other day. And I told myself, regardless of what happened tonight, I was going to come out and be aggressive and give myself an opportunity to help the team to win.
Now, Larry Bird kind of called you out after Game 1, and he said to the press before tonight's game that you'd been pouting. Did that ignite you?
Well, I don't know if he said that, so I'm not going to feed into it. But Larry's a guy that knows how to motivate his team. And the bottom line is he wants to win a championship just like I do. So I'm going to go out there and do the best I can to help bring that home to Indiana.
You guys have had a tough time dealing with prosperity all year. Now you get the home court advantage back. Can you handle the prosperity and finish your business?
Well, we can handle our business. We know what it takes. We was here this time last season. It's not new to us. And we're going back to Indiana. We got the best 6 man in the country. And here we come, y'all. So don't sleep.
Jalen Rose, congratulations. Chris Mullin, it seems as though you turned the clock back tonight, didn't you?
Well, you know, you told me I was looking old in the locker room, so I was really waiting for a breakout game, you know. I've been struggling a little bit, but I thought tonight we played with a lot of energy. Got in the old flow a little bit, which is good for me, my game, and, you know, got some good looks.
Chris, congratulations. Great game to return home.
Thanks a lot. Let me say one thing. Happy birthday, my son, Sean.
You just did. Happy birthday, Sean. Tom?
All right, the best present Sean could get. Dad scores 18, 10 in the third quarter. Jalen Rose led all scorers with 19 points. Marcus Camby had 18 to lead New York. Final score, 90-78 Indiana. Now stay tuned on most of these NBC stations for your late local news and then late night with Conan O'Brien. Be sure to join us Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, back in Indiana as the Knicks and Pacers meet in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and now all even at 2 wins apiece. That's Game 5, Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time, here on NBC Sports. The Knicks couldn't pull it out tonight. They didn't have a miracle finish to fight off the Indiana Pacers. For Steve Jones, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray, Tom Hammond saying so long from New York. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.